So you've decided to start your own small business. Well done. That's a huge adult decision. But you fool, do you really understand what you're in for? Because there's a whole lot of things that people won't tell you about having your own small business. I'm Lance from Motive Power. I've been running an independent engineering consultancy for 27 years. Prior to that, I was the chief engineer of a public company. So I've seen both sides of the coin. And today I'm going to talk about, well, really the things people won't tell you. So stand by. Starting your own small business is a daunting task. It's like being promoted from the factory floor to the big boss in one step. You need to be committed and focused. It is not something for half measures. You're either doing it or you're not. Don't try and do it in conjunction with something else in your life, because you'll fail at both. You need to listen to advice. It's free, generally, and I'm giving you advice. But I'm telling you, you don't have to take it. Listen to the advice and decide what you want to do. You can't live your life through other people's shoes and other people's views. Know that it will be really, really hard. And understand there will be setbacks and many disappointments along the way, and only a few occasional goals. Be very wary of business with friends. It's very hard balance to maintain. Even if you're trying hard, your friends may not. Be wary too of partnerships. Businesses need leaders. It's very difficult with partners because who's the leader? Who's in charge? Who sets the direction and makes the hard decisions? And it's also tricky to get all the partners to pull their weight at the appropriate time. They're partners. They're not your employees. You can't beat them on the head and say, get to work. So partnerships can be very tricky too. Simple businesses can be sole traders, but be very wary of commingling your assets and the business's assets. Because if things go wrong, you'll want to be able to just say the business assets are at risk, not your own house, etc. Even if you're just a dog walker, you're in big trouble if that dog bites somebody. And I hope you would have insurance to cover that. Anyone can sue anyone at any time for anything, but they will generally sue where the money is, and that's an insurance policy. If your business has insurance, that's what they'll go after. Protect yourself in all things. And you need to take off your rosy-coloured glasses and throw them away. See life as it is. People can be complete arseholes, even ones that you thought you were friends with. When it comes to business and money is involved, people change. Don't fool yourself that everybody wants what you have to offer. And be aware that the likely opportunity may not be what you think it is. You may have to do a bit of a course correction early on in your business. Ford's an example of that. They've been making motor cars for many, many years. but now they make very, very few cars. Mostly they make SUVs and trucks. And your spidey senses need to be on alert all the time. If you feel like someone's taking you for a ride, taking advantage of you, they probably are, and you need to shut it down. As I've said in many other videos, trust but verify. Whatever people tell you, trust it, but go and check that it is actually correct. You'll be very glad you did. One of the challenges I've found in big business and small is that I can control what's inside my department or business. I can't control what's happening out there. Many years ago, an Australian Prime Minister made a derogatory comment about a Malaysian Prime Minister, and our business immediately lost big orders to Malaysia. I couldn't control that. And similarly, when suppliers are late in delivering, well, sorry, we'll be 3 weeks late. Tough luck. That's impacted your business and your cash flow. Personally, I impose Proctor's law of payments. If your goods are 3 weeks late, my payments can be 3 weeks late. Your problem. But you can't always do that. And of course, it might not be your suppliers. It might be your clients that change their mind, or it could be the government that changes things on you. So be prepared to have all the other players involved put you through the hoops. You can't trust them other than to be untrustworthy. So be very careful and be very flexible. And don't get sucked in by clients or suppliers wanting you to do things you're not ready for. Fortunately, there are some things you can do to simplify your life when you're running your small business. I know it's expensive. I know you need to watch your pennies. The trick is to spend them very wisely. There's no point in spending so much time in the business micromanaging elements if it doesn't let you work outside and do selling. That's called working in the business, not on the business. And you need to spend the majority of your time working on the business to grow it. Get a good practical accountant, someone that speaks simple English. I'm an engineer. I don't speak accountant, but I can check the amount of money in the bank balance. I need somebody that can talk to me in plain English and tell me what I need to do and why. And if you're a single entity business, single person business as I am, that accountant is a great backstop to bounce ideas off and get some guidance for future actions. There's an old adage about accountants that they are recorders of history, not makers of it. Very often, certainly in big business, accountants will tell you what you did wrong 3 months ago. It's completely useless. And as a small business, you can't suffer that 3-month time frame. You need to have someone to tell you what you need to do this month. Pay the taxes, do the BAS statement, etc. So get a practical accountant, one you can relate to and who will give you good advice and guidance. You might want to set it up online. Something like Xero, which I've found really good. It's plain English. I can upload my expenses and so forth. And the accountant at a different location, a different time, can log in and massage it all to get it ready for the tax man. And alongside all of this, you must have a budget. Starting a business, you might not have a real appreciation of the costs that are involved. But you will want to track, you should want to track how you're going against a budget. Should you be scared? Should you be comfortable? Is there another area you need to be more focused on? The budget will help you get that guidance. And I'd say to you, don't get staff unless you have to. Staff are a major cost and a major distraction. Your efficiency will diminish incredibly once you've got staff. Very early on in my management career, I had a new employee come to me. He was double my age, and he asked me, he said, I need advice. I said, great. I was an engineer, he was a draftsman. I thought it'd be a technical question. And he said, my wife is sleeping with my best friend. What do I do? That's the sort of disruption staff brings to the workplace. Ultimately, he split and got a new wife, but that's another story. Employees do perhaps allow you to focus more on the business and sales, providing they're reliable and they're expert in what they do. These days, I'd suggest it's better to judiciously subcontract as much as possible, the so-called gig economy. I've done that for drafting and graphics work quite successfully. Stuff I could do myself, but I'd be slower and I'd be stuck in the office instead of out finding the next job. One very important thing to do is to automate as much as possible. And no, I don't mean robots. What I mean is the simpler things, like quotes should be on a template. You should have your terms and conditions laid out, written down, ready to hand out. It's quite possible these days you can do your quotes straight away on a tablet. But you need to get that base workload, that repeating sort of workload, simplified. Templates are a great way of doing it. For me, having email and calendar on my phone has been a major benefit because I'm not tied to a PC in the office to check my emails and to make bookings and appointments. Simple as that. You're also going to need some quiet time, and you should schedule it in. Some quiet time just to take a deep breath and think, how do I improve the business? I like to take Friday afternoons because basically no one's interested in doing business on a Friday afternoon. So I can sit quiet without phone calls and say, what went wrong this week? What didn't I do as well as I should have? What bit of software do I need to learn a bit more of? Or what other sort of opportunities should I be investigating? That's your planning time. If you're so busy you run off your feet, you'll be run off your feet until all of a sudden you aren't. And you will realise things changed and you were too busy to see it. So you need the quiet time to think about things. For equipment, get the best quality you can afford. Doesn't have to be top line, because I'm going to suggest you have a good quality computer and laptop and so forth, but you also have a backup. Have a second printer. Have a PC on the desk. If something goes down, you've got a backup. If one computer's in being fixed, your business is still alive on another one. And Dropbox is a big part of that sort of thing. If you're buying tools, buy the best you can afford, but again, not too flash. You're likely to break them, wear them out, have them stolen on site and so forth. So buy good quality stuff that will be reliable for you, but that you can afford to replace should you need to. And as for the web, find a good, sensible online graphics person. They'll get your online presence up and running and keep it up to date and not charge you a fortune for it. And not think that they own your website and refuse to give the passwords and so forth over when you want to change to another provider. And as far as the office goes, I used to say I slept in the stationery cupboard. And I did that until I got a bigger house and had a separate office. Working where you live is not a great idea because you can never get away from the office. If it's a separable office, a separate little granny flat or something, that's fine. And of course, if you've got staff, you probably don't have that option. And one big, big important thing, don't forget your friends and your family and your life. Before starting the business, you need to work out what is your pitch. What do you do and why do you do it? And what makes you better from all the other people out there that do the same or similar things? Do not say quality, responsiveness, that you listen, you're nice people. That waffly BS does nobody any good. You have to work out why you're better than everybody else. You need to find something that's unique that will get people interested in you and what you can do for them, because that's what it's all about, what you can do for them. If you're a consultant, as I am, be the best in the field, be the most knowledgeable and the most experienced. I'm a special vehicle design consultant on off-highway vehicles. Now, that takes me into mining, military, marine, aviation and rail. So whatever category of special vehicle, I've got the experience. Come talk to me. Been there, done it, and I can show you the easier way to do it. If you're a service provider, again, what else can you do to make your services better than anybody else's? The example for me is if I go to a cafe and order a hot chocolate. If it doesn't come with a marshmallow, it's a crappy hot chocolate. If you want to please your customers with hot chocolates, give them some marshmallows. And if you're a product supplier, well, there's a whole range of things you can do. But the best one I've seen is with every shipment, package a big bag of jelly beans. One of my IT clients did that. And they got a lot of positive feedback from their clients with the jelly beans. I'm not convinced the jelly beans got far enough up the channel to the decision makers, but it produced a lot of positive feedback. And if you need accreditations, get them and flaunt them. I'm a chartered professional engineer. I'm also a recognised professional engineer in one of the states. So I can say that, I put it on everything, and it just shows that I'm part of the industry. All of this is about creating your own legend, your package of who you are and what you do. You could call it branding if you like. And it's not necessarily related to product. Coca-Cola doesn't sell drinks. What they sell in their advertising and promotion is lifestyle, excitement, going to the beach and all that sort of stuff. They use that lifestyle for people to buy their product. So you need to think about how you're going to approach things in your business. You need to work this all out before you start and refine it as you go. Quality assurance people call it continuous improvement. And that's what you're aiming for, and that's what you'll need to stay ahead of your competitors and to keep your customers happy. Work out what your advantage is, provide it, and stick with it. If you're going to say quick response is your big selling point, then be quick. Don't let it slip. Once you've created that brand, stick to it, make it work. It's nothing to say you can't enhance it later on, but you need to get moving fast. Now you need to remember what the purpose of a business is. And I'll ask you to think about that yourselves. And if you say anything other than to make money, you're foolish. Only when you are making money can you help people. You can't be a charity if you're broke. So focus on the money. Anything that stops money coming in and makes your business bleed money going out needs to be fixed or changed. And sometimes this will be brutal. You might have to break some old bonds with suppliers, colleagues, employees. You have to do it, otherwise you're the poor bunny that's going to suffer, and they'll go on and get another job or another client or whatever, and you'll be wearing the consequences. Think of it as a personal growth experience. Now, when I think of these things, I have a sort of little logo that I like to think of. And here it is. I call him Conan the businessman. On one hand, wielding the sword to keep things moving straight and slashing and burning when necessary. On the other hand, keeping the business running by staying in contact with clients, getting more orders and so forth. You need to think about your own sort of mentor or mental picture and then live up to it too. So there will be lots of times when things aren't going so well, and you'll have to sort it. If you're spending too much, are you out of the business too much? You're filling in tax forms or doing the bookkeeping or something that's not letting you work on the business. Are you spending things on money outside of the business? I've seen this with other clients who sponsor the local footy team and try and help everybody. And that's a wonderful aspiration, except it sends them broke while they're trying to grow the business. Only when you've grown the business can you afford that. You need to manage time as much as money. The time is more valuable than money because you can't make more time. You have to use what you've got the best way you can. And if your favourite suppliers have become a problem, sort them out real quick, find an alternative. The old adage in business is never have a single source of supply. I've seen that repeatedly proven. As soon as you get everything established with a client, they get cocky. They think they've got your business for life. The price goes up, the delivery goes down, the service is shocking. But if you've got two suppliers, they'll fight for your business. You may be able to make different arrangements with them too. As your business is growing, you might be able to buy in bigger quantities, or perhaps pay in a different currency. When I worked in the aviation industry, our components were bought from the US in US bucks. Our customers were airlines who had lots of US bucks. But being in Australia, everything got converted to Australian dollars and then back again whenever we wanted to pay for things. We saved a lot of money by arranging to pay suppliers in US dollars, and our customers were happy to use their US dollars to pay us. So things like that can be a big advantage. You might want to make bigger batches at lower prices. And, you want to be very careful they're not cutting you out. One of my bugbears is a lot of companies don't have global pricing. If I buy something in China, where it's perhaps made, I can buy exactly the same product here through the traditional supply chain. It might be 30 times more expensive. My business, my client's business, cannot afford that, and it is enough to put them out of business. So buying from China, in the examples I'm thinking of, is almost obligatory, because the middlemen you're buying from, who might still be big name companies, are ripping you off. Be very careful about suppliers. They're in the game to make money themselves, just like you are in the game to make money. Don't let them be pirates at your expense. And if you're dealing, well, some companies just can't be trusted. I've seen major US IT companies be a real problem, where they will bypass their approved, signed up, exclusive distributor in Australia to offer a cheaper price direct to the client. And the answer is, we wanted the business. And even though you've got a written exclusive distributorship, they say, tough luck, sue us. And of course, you're not going to do that. So bastardry exists in business, particularly with the bigger businesses. Be aware of it, live with it, you won't change it. The usual problem, of course, is that there's insufficient sales. So you need to work out where your customers are coming from. Have you actually missed a market segment? Talk to them, find out what else they need in your sort of area and why they aren't buying. Maybe they don't like you. Maybe you don't have a sufficient offering for them, or the wrong skill set, or your pricing is wrong, your delivery is wrong, your competitors are just more entrenched or better. Maybe your clients don't know that you do all that sort of thing. And you should never be afraid to ask why you didn't get the order. You should always ask for the order and let the client tell you why he's not going to give it to you, if in fact he isn't. You need to figure out how to sell, and I'm not going to give you lectures on it. You need to ask for that order. Just do it. Tell the customer what you can do for him. Show him how good you are, and then say, when can I expect your order? I'd like to work with you. And once you get that order, service the heck out of it. Give it to him really fast, really slick, really smooth. And that way, it'll lead to the next order. And again, another old adage, it's 10 times more difficult to find a new client than to keep an existing one. And remember, price is not necessarily the deciding factor. So if you do all those things, your business should be humming along. But this isn't the time to rest on your laurels. It's very important to undertake continuous improvement. Fix the things that annoy you and enhance the things that work well. Look at where the money is flowing to and from, remembering that's the essence of a business. You've got money coming in and there should be less money going out. The bit in the middle is yours. Work out what goes well with clients and do more of it. Work out what doesn't work and either fix it or get rid of it. Build up a financial buffer. That's important to give you peace of mind, and you should always be a relaxed and confident business owner. Don't give out the nervous feelings, even if they're deep inside. A financial buffer will give you a sense of confidence, will also allow you to consider perhaps different buying practices, different terms of payment, and so forth. And I want you to think very seriously before expanding. Most businesses fail when they are expanded. The problem is you need resources to expand, be that people or premises or whatever. But the return from that investment is deferred. You might go and move into an office suite, get a couple more people. It'll be 3 months before that sees an increased return. And you've got 3 months you've got to finance that for. It's a very hard ask. Management is a lot of fun. It can take you places and let you do things you didn't know perhaps existed. But it's only fun if you train yourself up here, understanding that it's a long-term challenge. Get that in your psyche. You're up for a long-term challenge. You can do it. If you're not up for a long-term challenge, forget the whole thing. Go back to being somebody's employee and let them reap the benefits. Running a business will toughen you up, but don't let it make you a monster. And it will do that if you only work in the business and you treat everything as a business. You need to have a separate life. Work 5 days and get outside on the other 2. Have a life, enjoy things, meet people, do things. Business is not it. It might help you be able to do some things, but it isn't the reason for your existence. Have fun with it. Enjoy the highs, cope with the lows, and, just get on and let it expand your psyche, your experiences. Have a lot of fun. I wish you success.